No. Oh, there we go. All right, what's up, y'all? There you go. If you didn't know, my name is Thomas Aponte, and this is my show. Welcome. Jesus Christ, it's hot out here. Anyway, I hope you enjoy. This is gonna be really heavy. Don't be afraid to laugh, even though I'm talking about some really heavy shit. So, enjoy yourselves. And without further ado. Slow down, cause I'm breaking down, and there's not much left that I can do. Break out the wine, we celebrate life, we can celebrate death as well. She let you know I'm dying, don't bother crying, but pray I don't go to hell. Tell me what's wrong with the way that I say things. Ain't got much trust in the matter anyway. Need to try and make a change, that is how me going down this long and lonesome road. I don't know how to explain why I try in vain to make you see life my way. You're better off getting back, so that you don't go and hear that pain, followed by the tears that seem to flow for years, weighing on you every day. So get back, I'm under attack by a pessimistic point of view. Can't seem to slow down, cause I'm breaking down, and there's not much left that I can do. Can't seem to fight the feeling, I know I'm not going home. Won't tell you how I'm feeling, I know I'll always be alone. So this is goodbye, say goodbye. So, I can't remember what day it was. You know, I think it'd be funny if it was a Wednesday. They say that Wednesday's the day with the highest suicide rate. Something about you've been through the bullshit of Monday and Tuesday, and by the time you made it to Wednesday, you know, Thursday and Friday are gonna be even worse, so why not, you know? So, there I am. My mom is yelling at me. I can't remember what she's saying. She's calling my name and I don't want to hear it. Just won't. Earlier, my dad had chastised me for something I had done in the basement. Usually he would do the handiwork by himself, but because he was on painkillers, he needed me to help out. I remember after seeing my half-assed job, he said something along the lines of, you know, if my arm was fine, I wouldn't fucking need you. So I said, fine. You see, fine meant a lot of things. Fine meant, I give up. It meant, I know what to do now. It meant, goodbye, world. It seemed like that was the answer. And before I knew what I was doing, I just sort of blacked out. I remember running out the door with my mom calling my name. I remember it was a beautiful day. The type of day where the sun was shining, wasn't too hot, not too much wind. The type of day that may have changed my mind, except I was already out the door. You know, it seemed funny, as if the universe was trying to contrast my mood with the weather, as if to spite me. But I kept going, though. So, you see, my destination was the North White Plains train station, because it was so close. It was just a 5-minute walk from my house. I run up the street, cross the Bronx River Parkway, and then I'm there. I made up a plan as I ran, and as I started to slow as I neared the parking lot, I began to realize that this would take a little bit more effort. You see, the North White Plains train station had this bizarre stairwell where you have to walk up the stairs to get to the ticket booth and then walk down another staircase to get to the platform. Why this fucking bizarre way? I don't know. Like, why not a staircase that goes directly to the platform? I mean, there was one further up in the parking lot, but you know, that one smelled of piss and shit, and really, I wasn't really trying to deal with that. You know, I had enough on my plate as it was. So anyway, I ascended the staircase to enter the ticket booth area and then went down the staircase to get to the platform. I climbed off the platform and I stood on the tracks. This was the answer. I stood there for a while trying to keep my mind blank, but that didn't work. I thought about my ex-girlfriend, my family, my friends, and I breathed deep and heavy. It seemed like I stood there forever, but time was marking itself with the blare of the horn of the oncoming train. It was a strange day. No one was at the station. Maybe it was a Sunday afternoon, so of course the suicide would go unnoticed until much later. The train was coming. It was an express going southeast. It wasn't going to stop. It was getting close, and I don't know how much longer I had. I was going to die. That's what went through my head at that moment. And then something just took over, and I bolted off the fucking tracks. Just in time to watch the train zoom by off into the distance until I couldn't see it anymore. I stood in the tall grass. I was alone again. I sat by the tracks. You know, I was so close. And I broke down and I cried. You know, I still had the urge to go, but not that way. Maybe a less painful way. I didn't know what that was yet, so I walked back home as slowly as possible, partly because I was embarrassed that I didn't go through with it, partly because I was trying to think of a better way. So I went back into the house, and I hear my parents yelling and screaming, so I try to take this opportunity to sneak back into my room. I sit down on my bed, and I have a moment of silence. I have a minute to think to myself, what the fuck am I doing? And then my mom comes in yelling and screaming that she's been calling me for quite some time. I tell her I want to kill myself. So I suppose you're wondering how I got here. I can't say I'm entirely sure myself, but you know, I have an inkling as to how it happened. But let's look at some statistics. The National Mental Health Institute says that suicide is a major preventable health problem. In 2007, it was the 10th leading cause of death in the US, and that suicidal behavior is complex. Some risk factors vary with age, gender, or ethnic group, and may occur in combination or change over time. You know, it just sounds so impersonal when you put it like that. I mean, often there's personal reasons behind the act, not easy to narrow down to a science. I mean, has studying it like a science made it any less popular of a thing to do? No. I mean, in 2009, there were 36,909 deaths. In some spots in the US, suicide is considered illegal, which to me is one of the stupidest fucking laws that we have. I mean, seriously, one should do it. Who's gonna prosecute you, right? It's not much of a deterrent. In fact, if you fail and get prosecuted, I think that's more of an incentive to try again. The fourth most popular, you know, it's really strange to use the connotation popular when you're talking about people killing themselves. But anyway, the fourth most popular age group males choose to commit suicide is 15 to 24. The most popular is between 45 to 54. Women are rather low on the spectrum in comparison to males. In 2005, 25,848 men committed suicide. Only 6,711 women did. Got me asking, why do more guys go through it than girls? In a 1998 study, psychiatrist George Murphy said that women process their experiences with their friends. They discuss their feelings, seek feedback, and take advice. They are much more likely to tell a physician how they feel and cooperate in the prescribed treatment.
As a result, women get better treatment for their depression. You know, this suggests that men aren't likely to do any of these things. I'm not skeptical about this because I seem to fit the profile of what this study says I don't do. I always felt as if I were to tell anybody, it would make me look weak. In fact, when I did tell people, that was often the response that I got. They would always make up their own reasons for why I wanted to do it or be completely blindsided. To me, it seemed painfully obvious, you know? The usual response was either anger or disbelief. I can't say I responded to disbelief well. Most people thought that I was joking. And anger didn't really help either. This was usually followed by such derision of my character that it only further encouraged me to go down the route. Peppered in with a few comments that say, Thomas, it's not that bad. Hang in there. It's gonna be all right, buddy. But you know, by that time, any advice had fallen upon deaf ears. You know, I guess as a male of the human race, I can attest to the conclusion of this study, you know, at least in my case. Any attempt to reach out for help I construed as a sign of weakness. You know, a man should be able to take care of himself in this regard. So I generally keep to myself. And then I wondered to myself, did the male figures in my life encourage this route? Perhaps. But I wouldn't say in a direct way. So how y'all doing tonight? There we go. Somebody's laughing. Thanks. Anyway, hope you enjoy this song about me killing myself on a Wednesday. So, goodbye, Yellow Brick Road. Elton John sings on his title track. Goodbye to the fantasy, I say. Goodbye to simplicity, to black and white, good and evil. At least that's what it means to me. I never really got The Wizard of Oz, you know? I never really liked it as a kid, but as an adult, I'm beginning to understand it and why maybe I never liked it. A girl trapped in the dreariness of real life has an adventure in a fantasy land. She makes some friends, sees some insane and miraculous things, and then defeats the wicked witch, coming out the hero. She and her friends meet the wizard and expect to receive some type of reward where he merely reveals that the power to defeat the witch was inside themselves. The only magic that Dorothy ever had was clicking those damn red shoes of hers. And just like that, she's back home with the newfound wisdom to get along in life and her happily ever after storybook ending. You know, Dorothy was the archetype protagonist. And just like every archetype, they go on some sort of hero's journey. But what killed me was she just went back home and everything was all right. Even after a natural disaster. I mean, come on, guys. A fucking tornado hit the house. What the fuck is up with that? Anyway, you know, closest thing I get to the hero's journey is playing Final Fantasy, specifically number 7. But the difference is when I play the game, I have no urge to ever go back home to return to reality. I mean, shit, if I could live in a video game universe, I would. At least there, the world is more defined. There is such thing as good and evil. It can be clear cut. But I'm home, though. At least by definition of where I live. What weighs on me, pushing me into the arms of fantasy, is the ever heartbreaking reality. I remember I received my first dose of reality at age 6. My grandfather died, and I understood the weight of what that meant immediately. He was no longer there for the people who loved him, including me. That was my first hint that, no, everything isn't always going to be all right. Lately, it's been the increasing tension between my parents. It's gotten to the point where they no longer seem to be good to each other. They walk around the house, passing by each other like two ships in the night. It seems they only have negative effects on each other. The end is nigh, and the cracks have begun to show. You know, it took me a long time to try and accept this. My parents were always the basis of what I considered an ideal relationship. I told my mother that, and she laughed at me. Clearly, somebody was in denial. You know, I wanted so bad for everything to work out, but that fighting and tension was just a phase. And sometimes it seemed like it was, but that's because I was away in my fantasy at school. You see, college was a sanctuary from the screaming and fighting. I chose to stay close because I wanted to be near my family. The irony was I rarely went home. When I did, I was greeted by the familiar cacophony that I was accustomed to in my household. But my newfound freedom had spoiled me. I could no longer endure this bullshit. So I'd stay at school, I'd rarely call home, and go home only for special occasions. You know, for a time, I felt guilty, as if I were abandoning my family. I still feel that way sometimes, but for the sake of my own health, I needed to stay away. I love my mother and father. You'd be hard-pressed to find anybody else that believed more than me that they could make this work. You know, it was part of the foundation of my world. I needed them to make this work. I mean, hell, I wouldn't be here if not for them, right? Now, eventually, I grew numb to the guilt. I was just trying to finish school, but it was the end of my sophomore year and I was just hanging on for dear life. Just had to finish up my finals and I could catch a break. Even at this point, my relationship was on the rocks with my girlfriend. At school, it was difficult enough to maintain. You think without the added stress of school that things would suddenly just get better, but no. By summer vacation, they'd only become worse. Now I was back at home, stuck in the chaos of my parents fighting, my adolescent sisters fighting with my parents, and me fighting with my girlfriend. The constant tension seemed to never subside. I got used to it. My girlfriend didn't, and she feared for her future. I've been an angry guy for some time. I had a set-in-my-ways type of attitude and would rarely compromise. I was prone to explode when a conversation took a turn that I didn't like, because I always felt as if, no matter the subject, if I didn't agree with it, it was a direct attack on my beliefs. and it was necessary for me to defend myself. She told me a month into a summer vacation that we couldn't be together anymore, and we needed to break up. You know, I couldn't hear this. I wouldn't hear it. I had depended on her to be my light in the darkness. If she was there, I could get through anything. I looked upon her as my salvation from the doom I was feeling, but she turned out to be the hand that cast me further into the abyss of my own misery. For a long time, I believed that we'd get back together. I swear to God, if you told me any different, I would fucking snap. When I finally accepted that she was gone, the hopelessness officially set in. When she broke up with me, I was reeling. It felt like a bad dream I'd wake up from, but it was as if the ghost of Christmas future had shown me what may be and what I could possibly change, but no, it was the ghost of Christmas present, and he had shown me what was and what will be and what will fucking stay that way! I had grown to love her just as much as I had grown to hate her. And it was then that I learned that love and hate are not mutually exclusive. You know, she wasn't terrible, though. I mean, we had a lot of good times here and there, but I did a few things here to fuck it all up. When I think about how we got together, it's fairly stupid. Why it lasted 3 years, I couldn't tell you why. For her, I was just supposed to be a fickle fling. I was a guy friend who she trusted, and she wanted to lose her virginity before college. She asked me, and I said, what the hell, why not? It's never that easy to get laid, so why the fuck am I gonna pass that up? Come on. So, when I went to see her to do said deed, I found that I still had feelings for this girl. You know, they've always been there since middle school. And I thought they went away, but no, they only aged and fermented like a fine wine. So, after we had sex, we kept seeing each other and we became boyfriend and girlfriend. For me, it was because I said I loved her. For her, perhaps it was because I said I loved her and she had nothing better to do. Not exactly a match made in heaven, so we were star-crossed from the start. When we would have problems, my method of resolving them would be to ignore them until they went away. Except they never fucking went away. We'd fight about things I'd wish she would just fucking let go. And she couldn't let issues go. She'd talk about them, and just as I thought we were about to resolve them, she would talk some fucking more. It drove me crazy. Like I said, had a very set in my ways type of attitude. There was nothing wrong with me that needed such drastic and immediate change. She was bugging out or just plain crazy, you know? It's like I shouldn't have to change myself for her, nor should I even have to. It's like, I mean, when I look back on it, there were a lot of things I could have done better here and there to make it better, but I cheated on her. Yeah, motherfuckers, I cheated on her, okay? But listen, I was a kid in high school. After losing my virginity, it was like the allure of variety was too strong to ignore. Like, who the hell thinks their high school sweetheart is going to be the end-all, be-all? I mean, for a second, I kind of did, but, I mean, that's why I was cheating. It was like I was trying to get it all out of my system, you know what I'm saying? But it caught up with me. So, I got a big head. I kind of thought I was the shit. Walking around like I'm a big man on campus. So her flipping out on me wasn't exactly completely unwarranted. You know, I certainly did care, but I wasn't good at showing it. I mean, I came off as harsh to her, which is something that apparently a lot of girls that have been in a relationship with me have found. You know, I guess I'm mean. I mean, I have some demons I need to be working on, but I'm getting there. I think. So when she left me, it was very ugly. I couldn't just let her go, and given the state of my family, my potential future, her leaving was akin to the end of the world. So I threatened suicide, as if that would make her want to stay. I knew she cared about me, and this was maybe a trump card, but even so, she had to leave. We had one last conversation with her just pleading for me to let go. I tried. Believe me, guys, I tried, but her absence left an increasingly painful hole in my life, leaving a dull yet increasingly painful hole in everything else. You know, I still hope that this would just suddenly change, that we would get back together, and I found out the worst thing for me was hope. Not the hope that I would move on, but the hope that she would come back. And at first with that hope came a slight happiness. But with time, it turned into something that would wreak havoc on me until I could no longer take it. I needed an outlet. So, having an inclination of the musical kind, I decided to write her a song. Heartfelt lyrics and a beautiful melody. I thought it was all the right ingredients to get her back. But funny thing is about this particular girl, she was also a musician. So she wrote me a song back, which was essentially, "Fuck you, Thomas, leave me alone." So that just made it a lot worse for me. But you know what? I had found an outlet. I had found a way to vent and be creative at the same time. I always wanted to write music. And now I was on the right path. Funny how I started blaming her for all my problems. So, without further ado, here's a song about the stupid bitch who broke my heart. Thank you. Let's go back.